Truth Minister Paul Scott here, Militant Militia. Now I know everybody by now has seen that clip of Nicki Minaj performing on the Live with Regis and Kelly Show the other morning when Regis had the audacity to feel that black woman's behind. I know you all seen it by now because the internet is blowing up with people talking about it. But the question we have to ask ourselves as black men and black women, is it acceptable, was it acceptable for Regis to feel on Nicki Minaj? Now I know some of the brothers out there saying, yo, ain't nothing wrong with that. I feel on Nicki too. Nicki fine. Well, come on, brother. You got to understand the history of white exploitation of black women. If you look in the book Medical Apartheid by Dr. Harriet Washington, she talks about a sister named Sarkay Bartman, or Sarah Bartman, who the European named Hottentot Venus. She came from the South African tribe, the Khoi tribe, and this was around the 18th century, in the 18th century. Now this sister had a big behind, just like Barbie, but hers was natural. And what they did was, they took her from South Africa and paraded her around Europe and put her in circus shows and displayed her body. And even when she died, they used her body for scientific experiments. That's how fascinated the European has been with the black woman's behind. Also, in J.A. Rogers' book, Sex and Race, Volume 3, he talks about how the European was fascinated by the black woman going back centuries because of the myth that she was more sexually promiscuous than white women. So we have a long history of white men exploiting black women. It just didn't start with Barbie, Nicki Minaj, but the trend has continued through the ages. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do now? Are we going to let Regis and the rest of America think it's acceptable for him to feel on black women? Would it have been acceptable if a black man had felt on somebody like Britney Spears? Remember, even when Kanye West grabbed the microphone out of Taylor Swift's hand, they lost their mind. Oh, poor little Taylor. See what big bad black Kanye did to Taylor Swift. So we're going to allow Regis to feel on Nicki Minaj and not say anything about it? So this is what we need to do. Just don't comment on this YouTube video. Email, Twitter, Facebook, the Live with Regis and Kelly Show, and let them know that we won't take that disrespect to our sister laying down. But Nicki, you got to also respect yourself, babe. Because if you don't respect yourself, nobody's going to respect you. How could you do that, Nicki? How could you do that stuff, Nicki? Let that white man feel on you. But regardless of how she feels about it, a lot of young black girls look up to people like Barbie, for better or for worse, and they saw that image. So we have to speak out against things like that. Truth Minister Paul Scott, Militant Militia. Peace.